Good late Tuesday, early Wednesday. Meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center right now, giving you a look at that Doppler radar picture across the region. You do see some scattered showers there. I know as we're looking toward the Atlantic coastal waters, but nothing too significant at this point. I know could have some fog around as we're looking ahead later across our region. I know just kind of pulling up some of the METAR stations right now. You do see a little bit of that already done up there. That's really reduced the visibility around Cecil Field, but none of the other METARs showing it at this point. But we'll be watching to see how things progress here and see if that kind of fills on in a little bit more across the region. So that'll be something worth watching as we kind of track things here. We'll go ahead and kind of zoom on out just a little bit here. I do see some more shower activity there toward the Gulf. I know just kind of zooming back in temperature-wise. You do see toward Keystone 77 degrees right now. Toward that area, we're right here in eastern Bradford County. It's a little north of that airport site. Pretty good ways. We're at 74 degrees. You can kind of see toward Tallahassee at 80 degrees right now. So definitely pretty warm here late at night. It's, still that summertime feel around. I know we'll be looking forward toward fall, but not really seeing that right now, unfortunately. I know we'll be watching the tropics, but nothing of major concern right now as we are kind of getting into toward football season. I know we're just going to be kind of monitoring that here as we kind of look ahead, whether it's the forecast for the games or if the tropics could interfere, but not seeing any of that at this point anyway. It could be wet, though, towards some of the games as we're looking ahead, especially that FSU game Monday night. That would have the highest chance. Not that that would be the one that would get impacted for sure, because still pretty far out with the details on something that is that hyper local, but let's go ahead and pull up the graphics here. I know that second Florida disaster preparedness sales tax holiday is underway. Francine's the next name. Nonetheless, we have some areas we're watching. One area that wouldn't be too big of a concern. Another will be something that we'll need to watch. Potentially a little closer, but right now, nothing, that we need to stress out about. I know in the Pacific, the Central Pacific, they've been watching some action. Had a hurricane come there, close enough toward the Big Island to cause them some impacts there toward parts of Hawaii County, but they use a different set of names over there as we look toward the Atlantic. I know we had a year ago a Dahlia there making landfall toward the Keaton Beach area. On that August 30th, about 7:45 a.m., there just, historic storm. 1 year anniversary of that. That would be on Friday here. That would be August 30th this year, but not going to have anything like that around this year. But last year, what a storm that was, with the max sustained winds ultimately being determined to have been around 115 miles an hour, a little bit lower than what they had initially when it actually made landfall. But a significant storm, 950 millibars at minimum pressure, just the devastation. Of course, Debbie, had an insult to injury here. As we were looking earlier on into toward the month, it wasn't near as impactful in a lot of ways, but still problematic for sure. As we go ahead and see that tropical climatology now toward the Atlantic Basin. I know late August, early October, that's what we always emphasize. The greatest time, there is really danger in terms of the storms, being more frequent out there. The frequency really does kind of go on up. So as we go ahead and see now that rainfall forecast, though, for the next 7 days, kind of giving you the latest here on all of that. You can see here toward the Texas coast there, around Galveston maybe, or as close to Lake Charles in Louisiana, could have significant rainfall, some flooding potential possibly there. This is still on average around 7 inches right towards some of those coastal areas, so that's something to watch in Houston and New Orleans, potentially on the edge of that. Toward our neck of the woods here, you can see toward like Stark, around a 1/4 inch of rain, give or take. A 1/4 to 1/2 inch around, Tallahassee as well. More toward like southwest Florida, the expectation maybe, if you're looking here over the next 7 days, of course, we have Labor Day in here. So you wanted to be watching radar there, interactive radar, Cloudy.com, for the very latest here when we're not on the air. And then high school football, though, that's getting, toward week 2 now. Dunallen at Bradford is Friday night. One of many games across the region. Of course, we're in Bradford County. Many folks will be going out to a game like this one here. It's at 7:30. It'll also be on the radio, 106.3 FM in the Stark area. Mid-80s expected. I do have a little bit lower rain chance than I had last week for some of the high school football acts, and we got pretty lucky there, I know, toward Baker County. It had rain to the east, that flooding, later in the night, but during the game, things were looking pretty good. But 40% chance of rain for this one, so lower than the 60% last week. Still though probability. I mean, it's still, potentially, could get impacted by, some downpours and the like. It's not, a zero chance here. Showers and storms still a possibility. So just keep that in mind. But lower than what, generally have here. As we're looking, some other days in the period, for instance, just on the hyper local level, it looks pretty low, but it's still a few days out too. Things can always shift around. Some of the models looking fairly good for this one. But again, things, are not, set in stone in these type of circumstances. As we look towards Saturday, 3:30 on ABC, Miami Hurricanes headed to the Florida Gators. They're in Gainesville, Alachua County, around 90 degrees expected for that one. 50% chance of rain, so we're watching for the potential for showers and storms. I know, could have a delay, something like that, so that's something to kind of bear in mind. And then Monday night there in Tallahassee, the Knowles, who are coming off a very tough loss there in Dublin, Ireland, we're taking on the Boston College Eagles. 7:30 kick is the expectation on ESPN. Mid-80s, but 60% chance of rain. The storm chances are starting to go up at that point here. That's something to kind of keep our eyes on as we're looking at the overall scenario here. Just kind of intriguing to monitor for sure as we track things. Could have some delays, not out of the question. I know, not a good start for the season for FSU football over there in Ireland. Just we'll see if things improve. Hopefully they do, because you can lose a game or two or maybe three, just depending on how it sets up to get. You can still get into the playoffs, but that's the way it'll be now with the 12-team playoff in college football. But starting at 0-2, the chances of actually running the table from that, I mean, would seem pretty unlikely. So this is a very important game for FSU. I mean, just really got to improve in a lot of areas. I mean, the kicking game was great for FSU. They're really doing a great job there. For the Seminoles, our kicker there, Fitzgerald. But, just overall, just got to have improvement in a lot of areas there. Whether it's from quarterback play and the like. I mean, just got to really improve. But storms definitely could, cause a delay there. It's not out of the question for any of these that a delay could happen. It's just a little more probable for Monday there toward Tallahassee. It's, something that kind of develops, pretty quick and change around pretty quick there. But that's kind of the storyline for that. As we go ahead and remind you, we're always on top of things in terms of any tornado warning storms in the 62 counties. And then I'll be watching that fog potential. I know you already saw some of that towards Cecil there. It was pretty significant. And you just got to remember the hazardous driving conditions, could occur at a low visibility. So slow down and give yourself extra time to reach your destination. Make sure your vehicle is as visible as possible to other vehicles by using your low beam headlights. And leave plenty of room between you and the vehicle in front of you. And then extended forecast now, you see rain changes around 40% through Sunday, but then going up for Labor Day there on 60%. Same for Tuesday there. So more rain in that period maybe could kind of keep the temperatures a little closer together at that point, but generally above average temperatures here. Boy, especially for those highs, it's a little more noteworthy there. Even the low is a bit above average in general, though. So just something to kind of keep in mind as we're headed from late August into early September here in 2024. I know college football, week one, Roy, is even going Thursday night here. Not necessarily anything local in terms of any, the major schools, but as we're looking toward our viewing circle at least. But I know, just, still going to be interesting to watch all that. I know we're going to be off Thursday here, so next formal update will be Tuesday here from the Weather Center. But of course, if we have anything that is significant, we'll be breaking in before then. I know we were, on there in the wee hours of Saturday morning because we had a pretty significant flash flooding situation developed there in eastern Duval County and parts of Jacksonville. Toward some of those coastal zones. So trying to always stay on top of things in that regard, as we're always monitoring things and on as warranted here to try to give you the very latest. Of course, there's a different platforms. We're on Facebook there, KC Cloud WX, Cloud Weather, Twitter / Exit Cloud KC. You also have, just YouTube there, Cloud Weather, Twitch Cloud Weather, and cloudweather.com. So always important to keep everything in mind in that regard. I know we're still watching some of that lingering flooding around in the wake of Debbie. I know we still had one of those flood warnings sign up on our map here as we were looking at things a little while ago. So that's always something to kind of bear in mind, as we're looking at things. And now the Weather Service is more concerned about areas of South Georgia for fog potential right now, according to the Jacksonville office, down into where like maybe Hamilton and Columbia. But we still got to be really careful. Drive with caution, use those low beams there. And looking, I know flood warning still in play toward the Santa Fe River at Three Rivers State, affecting Gilchrist County and Columbia counties. Hopefully we can get that one off the board pretty soon. The last lingering one here across, it would seem, the viewing area at this point. So, it's good that we only have one left after having a whole bunch. But, it's been something we've been tracking for a while, that excessive rain there during Debbie. But that'll do it for now. Have a great night. Stay safe here as we're looking to that Labor Day weekend. I'll be back, before next Tuesday if warranted. But otherwise, I'll be back here next Tuesday from the Weather Center. For now, just stay safe out there and try to enjoy things the best you can.